So hi everyone, this is Beloy, and my purpose of making this video is that I want to help other people on how to solve quadratic equations. So first, let's start with GCF. It is common factor. So we have here x squared minus 7x equals to 0. So we will gonna factor it out and it will become x inside of parentheses x minus 7 equals 0. So in the left side we have x equals to 0, and in the right side we have x minus 7 equals to 0. In order to transfer 7, we should add the opposite side of the number, which is positive 7. And it will become x equals to 7. So the solutions are 0 and 7. So the second one that we are going to discuss is dots, difference of two squares. So we have here 2x squared minus 25 equals to 0. So we will gonna factor it out and it will become 2, and inside a parenthesis, which is x squared minus 25 equals to 0. And we will gonna factor it out again, it will become x plus 5 and then x minus 5 equals 0. So we will divide it to 2 so that the 2 in the outer side will be cancelled, and it will become x plus 5 and x minus 5 equals to 0. So in the left side we have x plus 5 equals to 0, and in the right side we have x minus 5 equals to 0. So we're gonna do the same thing from what we did in the first item, in the first example. So the final answer will be x minus 5 and x equals to 5. So the solutions are negative 5 and 5. So the third one that we will going to discuss is PST, which is perfect square trinomial. And we will going to factor it out, and it will become x plus 8 equals to 0. And it can be also x plus 8 squared. So we have here x plus 8 equals to 0. In order to cancel out the positive 8 in the left side, we should add the opposite number. So we have negative 8. So the final answer will be x equals to negative 8. So the next one that we are going to discuss is general quadratic trinomials with 1 as lead coefficient. So we have here x squared plus 7 plus 12 equals to 0. The solution is x squared plus 7 plus 12 equals to 0. So we will going to factor it out, and it will become x plus 3 x plus 4 equals to 0. On the left side we have x plus 3 equals to 0, and on the right side we have x plus 4 equals to 0. So first we will going to cancel positive 3, and it will become x equals to negative 3, and also to the right side x plus 4 equals to 0 will become x equals to negative 4. So the next one that we are going to discuss is general quadratic trinomial in which the leading coefficient is not 1. So we have here 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 equals to 0. So we are going to factor it out. So it will become x minus 3 and 2x minus 1 equals to 0. On the left side we have x minus 3 equals to 0. So we will add the opposite number, which is positive 3, and x will be 3. And on the right side you have 2x minus 1. So we're going to add the opposite number of 1, which is 1. So it will become 2x equals to 1. In order to get out the 2, we need to divide it into 2. So we will divide 2x to 2 and 1 divided by 2. And the final answers will be x equals to 3 and x equals to 1/2. So now we are going to solve quadratic equations using quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is b squared minus 4ac greater than 0. So a will be x squared and A will be negative x squared, and B will be negative 3x, and C will be negative 2. So we should substitute. So we have here negative 3 squared minus 4 multiplied by negative 1 times negative 2 So, we are now here in our second example. If the discriminant is 0, b squared minus 4ac equals to 0, that is the formula. The quadratic equation has two equal real roots. So our equation is x squared minus 16x plus 64 equals to 0. So we will gonna use the formula. So we have the negative sign there and negative 16. So we have here positive negative sign and square root square root negative 16 squared minus 4 1 times 1 multiplied by 1 times 64 divided by 2, and 2 is being multiplied by 1. So we will have positive 16 positive negative sign square root of 256 minus 256 divided by 2, and it will become 16 positive negative sign square root by 0, and it will be divided by 2. So the on the left is 16 positive negative sign 0 divided by 2. So the final answer will be positive negative 8. So we have the third example. X equals to negative b positive negative sign square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And by the way, our example 3 is if the discriminant is negative b squared minus 4ac lesser than 0, the quadratic equation has two distinct non-real roots. So we have here negative sign multiplied by negative 3 positive negative sign square root of negative 3 squared minus 4 multiplied by 1 and multiplied by 11, and it should be divided by 2, and 2 is being multiplied by 1. So we have here 3 positive negative sign square root of 9 minus 44. So and we will divide it to 2. So it will become 3 positive negative sign square root of negative 35 divided by 2. The discriminant b squared minus 4ac lesser than 0. So there are two complex roots. 3 positive negative sign square root of 35i divided by 2. So the final answer will be 3/2 positive negative sign square root of 35i divided by 2. So the question in our word problem is find two consecutive even integers whose product is 24. What we're gonna do is let x be the first odd integer and x plus 2 be the second odd integer. So that's our equation. X inside the parentheses, x plus 2 equals 224. So the solution will be x squared plus 2x minus 224 equals 0. And we will going to factor it out, and it will become x plus 14 and x minus 16 equals 0. And then we have and on the left side we have x plus 14 equals 0. In order to cancel out 14 on the left side, we need to add the opposite number of it. So x will be negative 14, and we should also do it on the other side. In order to cancel out negative 16, we should add positive 16 on the right side, and our final answers will be x equals to negative 14 and x equals to 16. And that's all, guys. Thank you.